There we
Uh,
go.
Eric, I have a different backdrop today, dude.
I see that.
This isn't a green screen behind me. I am in Odessa, Missouri for a Midwest Drag Race Series event this weekend. I'm so excited. Guys, welcome to episode 65 of the Drag Drive Repeat show presented by Summit Racing. Yeah, we've got a huge show tonight. One of my favorite people on the planet, Mr. Brandon Parker, is going to be on here with us. Eric ordered a whole bunch of parts, but we're not going to talk about how much they cost because his wife is probably watching this. And all car parts are $300 if you ask my wife. So that's always a plus. We got some event updates, obviously 2 events starting this weekend. And then essentially you tore the whole front end off of your car. So we're gonna talk about that and what parts you've ordered and everything from there. Guys, hit the share button as you come in, hit the like button as you come in. Eric, hit that intro video. Let's go.
All right, let's do it.
We're gonna pack things up and hit the road, try to make it the next day.
All right. Well, it feels a little strange tonight, and this is going to be more in the sense of a podcast for me because I have to look down at my notes and not up at the camera. So I apologize for the folks that are watching on YouTube tonight, but you're not here to look at our pretty faces. You're here to look at the cool pictures and listen to the guests that we have. Anyways, my name is Mike Narks. I am the host of the Drag Drive Repeat show, which you're watching now, and the Drag Drive Repeat news, which happens live on Saturday mornings. And this guy right over here, Mr. Eric White. He's my RHM, my right hand man. Dude, tell him who you are, what you got going on, because you're a busy, busy guy.
Yeah, I am Eric White. I am the co-host for both the show and the news. Help out with Drag Drive Repeat, intro videos, artwork, whatever needs to be done around here. And when I'm not doing that, I'm running my channel, which is 815 LSX Swaps, which I just had my 100th order of trim rings that went to someone who's going to be on Six Summer. How cool is that?
Dude, I'm really excited about that. So I'm pumped about Six Summer and you being there Monday. I'm coming in on Thursday. We're gonna link up on Friday and just talk to everybody that's on property. I think the folks that make it through the week, we're gonna wear out. I promise. Well,
Yes,
guys,
sir.
we can't do this without you guys. I don't know if you know that or not, but our race car friends are probably the most important people to us. I mean, only secondary to our families, and then it's like families, and then race car friends, and then our project cars. You know, I guess race car friends and sponsors in there at the same time. There's kind of the same family of folks, but
Right.
we appreciate you guys doing this. Thank you for coming in here. Thank you for watching this every week. Thank you for your comments. I see folks are already chiming in over there in the chat. If you have a thought during the show, make sure you hit that in the chat box. If you are watching this later on, hit it down in the comments. We read every comment that comes onto YouTube and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. And then our sponsors, dude, can't do it without them. Can't make these trips without these guys. Summit Racing, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Car Chains 3D, Howard's Cams, Performer Built Transmissions, Sweet Patina, Racing Junk, and our newest media folks, Power Tube TV. And next week, we're releasing, I don't know what you would call it, a new sponsor that's going to come on board, and I'm kind of excited about that as well. So,
Ooh,
all right.
I might have to pop in, even though I might not be around. I might have to jump in for that for a little bit at
Oh,
least.
yeah,
Find a hiding spot.
it's going to be a blast, man. It's going to be a blast. Well, guys, Summit Racing, big part of our program here, and their speed legacy began in 1968 as a one-man startup and is now the world's speed shop with 4 facilities Too much time with the air conditioner blowing in my face today. And 200 plus catalog editions. Fueling your passion, they save you money, deliver fast, and offer top notch customer service for more than 1,500 brands. Make sure you download the Summit Racing mobile app for easy access to speed parts. Find them on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Also, you can tune into the On All Cylinders podcast for more automotive discussions. From humble origins to the social media lane, Summit Racing stands by your need for speed.
Yes, sir.
Well, lead us into what you saw yesterday or maybe Tuesday on their social media.
Yeah, so for Memorial Day, they made a post and it was asking for pictures of patriotic looking cars. So we got a couple in here. There was 563 comments when I looked last. So,
That's insane. Oh, sorry.
oops.
I'll let
So
you drop.
So you can see the post up there. Do you have a patriotic looking ride? Drop a photo below. So obviously we got two guys that we know here. We
Mm-hmm.
got Joe Barry and Jesse Matafari both there. So they both posted pictures. Obviously American flags in the background. So that's pretty sweet. Your boy with the picture
Mm-hmm.
on the right, my 240 there behind the American flag mural, which is about 20-ish minutes away from me. So
Nice.
definitely a cool spot to go take photos. I forget the driver of the vehicle on the left, but
I think that's Chris Van Worden.
that does sound right. I can't remember.
I think that's a Midwest Drags picture.
Yes, yep. And then
Cool.
just a couple other cool ones. Obviously, red, white, and blue. A couple guys did a nice little photo here of red, white, and blue classics there. And these ones were just wild. Looks like a road
Yeah.
racing Camaro on the left there with an American flag Summit paint scheme on there.
Yep.
And then on the right, you've got a traditional dragster there with the American flag. So this was a pretty cool post. Obviously, like I said, 563 photos. I couldn't go through and capture them all, so we just grabbed a handful.
That's awesome. Yeah, great find there. And again, guys, if you're not following them on any social, you need to be. Justin does a great job, and the whole social media team over there does a great job. But Justin's kind of their front guy, like Tommy was saying last week. It's kind of the dude that's out in front. So, all right, well, let's talk about some events
Yeah.
because there's some that finally start this week, and we talked about the frustration of this last week. It feels like we've been talking about these few events for months, and it's because we have. So,
Yeah.
lead us into this part, man.
All right. Why gamble with performance or protection when you get proven results from Driven Racing Oil? Trusted by top engine builders, winning racers, and devoted horsepower enthusiasts around the world. Driven takes legendary base oils, such as the ones from Bradford, Pennsylvania, which comprise their GP1 line. Then, Driven boosts that superior base with state of the art additive packages. Driven's GP1 Nitro 70 not only provides anti wear protection, but can even shield cylinders from washout and fuel dilution caused by using methanol or nitro based fuels. Learn more about Driven Racing Oils by following them on Facebook and Instagram at Driven Racing Oil or shop now at drivenracingoil.com.
Oh yeah. Do you want to talk about your one of your favorite folks in Drag and Drive and
Oh,
in
yeah.
the Driven Oil Racer Spotlight?
Oh, you know it. So this was a cool post that Driven had posted themselves. Racer Spotlight, Jeremy Ortiz, hybrid. What's his page called? Hybrid. Oh, I lost it. It's in here somewhere. Hybrid Team Hybrid Racing or something.
Mm-hmm.
95 Nissan 240 SX 5.3 LS Turbo. That is right up my alley.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read a little bit here from the post that Driven made. It says, we're counting down to Sick the Magazine, Sick Summer 2024. For this week, we're highlighting Jeremy Ortiz and his 95 240 SX, aka the Hybrid. Jeremy told us 5 major goals he has for this year. Number 1, first and foremost, always have fun, be safe, and enjoy the sport. Obviously, great idea there.
Yeah.
Number 2, attend as many street car style events as I can during the year. 3, continue to learn each time and progress forward, win or lose. Again, another great thought there. Number 4, be a great role model for next generation of racers. I mean, these are all pretty spot on.
Yeah.
And last, represent my sponsors and partnerships to the fullest. So again, great five statements there. Then
Well,
it goes
and like
on.
that car is just awesome. Like
Yeah,
it runs well, it looks great, all the stuff, and I mean that's what you're fixing to get into here.
yep. Then it goes on to say the internals of his ride, which won him HSM Drag Series, Nostalgia Nights, Midwest Summerfest, and 2023 feature. BTR Performance forged H beam rods, BTR forged crankshaft, BTR 5.3 boost pistons, land speed 243 heads, and BTR stage 3 turbo cam with BTR Ultimate RPM valve springs. If you guys can't tell, he does have a sponsorship with BTR as well.
And it sounds like he loves them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Custom built hot side feeding a single 88 millimeter T4 Bullseye power turbocharger. Um, a Treadstone Performance intercooler sits out in front to a Holley Performance 92 millimeter throttle body and BTR equalizer intake manifold. Fuel is handled by a single Fuel Lab 4501 Pro Series pump to a set of Injector Dynamics 1700X injectors. This all gets put to the ground through a Cone Engineering torque converter with their 3-speed reverse manual valve body TH400, 4-inch aluminum drive shaft to an IDS bolt-in 8/8 solid rear axle with weld 15 by 10 wheels wrapped in Mickey Thompson 275 Radial Pros. Controlling all of this is a Holley Dominator EFI system. So
That's awesome.
Driven goes on to say, we're wishing Jeremy all the luck, horsepower, and go fast energy that we can for a sick event. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool little article that they put together for Jeremy and their racer spotlight.
Yeah, and their racing spotlight is growing, or racer program is growing a bunch. They've got now Rich Guido is driven racing oil. Rovic from the Yukon has been driven for a long time, and Brian Goldstone, Jerry and Matt Sweet, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of really high level drag and drive racers that use that, and I'm sure a lot of other racers just don't know their name right off the top of my head.
Right.
So it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yep. Pretty cool.
Right. And then, we've been talking about these events for, of course, months and weeks. The Drop the Hammer starts, what's today? Wednesday, starts in 2 days. I can't wait for this thing to kick off. People are starting to post. They got their cars loaded up. They're getting tires changed and mounted, and people are wrapping up the final bits and pieces that they need to get going. And then Olympic Drag and Drive starts on Friday as well.
Yep. So they started doing some posts on Facebook this past week, which I thought were pretty cool too. They were also doing some type of racer spotlight. So this one was Mike Goddard in a '69 Boss Mustang. We've got is it Keeson Engler in a '90 Chevy 1500. We've got Derek Sohol in a '79 Malibu.
That color combo right there,
Yeah, yeah,
man.
that brown. It's
I,
got
c-
that like
I could old man that all day
yeah,
long.
exactly. We've got Todd Breton in a '64 Malibu. We've got Byron Thomas in a 2010 Challenger. We got Daryl Tippy in a '65 Nova wagon. I thought this was such a cool photo. Shout out
Yeah.
to, what does that say? Lauren something photo. I can't read it here, but whoever that photographer was that captured that was a great photo.
Yeah.
And then we've got Ellis Grew in a '68 Ford Fairlane 500. And the last one was Cooper Chun in a '93 foxbody Mustang.
Yeah.
So they posted each one of these over the past, I think, week. And what was really cool is each one of the posts had kind of some questions that they asked the racer, which I thought was a cool idea. So they asked, what was your first car? What was your favorite beverage? What got you into drag racing? What is something about your car that the naked eye may not catch, which I thought was pretty cool.
That's a great one. Yeah.
Your biggest accomplishment with the car thus far, your fastest ET or mile an hour, how many miles have you driven your car, which again is another great question, being that
Mhm.
these are drag and drive events. And then finally, any sponsors or crew members to thank. So I thought this was a pretty cool idea to get some engagement. And
Yeah.
so if anybody's interested, and go check out Olympic Drag and Drive on Facebook there, and you can see what each one of these racers had to say to answer those questions.
Yeah, that's a really good way, and I think that may not be a bad way for us to move forward as well. We just blast some folks with some questions because I know we've got them. People want to know that stuff, and
Yeah.
that would be something that would be easy to shed some light on all types of drag and drive racers. All right,
Yeah, because
yeah,
we spotlight a driver in a car typically, but
hmm,
we don't really get more in depth than that. So I agree. I
yeah,
think maybe finding out a little bit more about the car and maybe some just fun, crazy questions to ask would be
yeah.
good for next year.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great find there, man. Great find. All right, and then the reason I'm in a hotel room is the Summer SmackDown from Midwest Drag Race series. And if you guys can see this, for the folks that aren't listening on the podcast or on the video here, in the bottom right hand corner, I want to say thanks to Midwest Drag Race series for letting me do this and put together a drag and drive display. So we're going to have all these guys kind of pit together, and it's going to be fun. We're going to have folks are bringing their trailers. I really feel like it's going to be a interesting setup and give them an opportunity to talk to, other racers, but also spectators. I mean, last week here there were 17,000 people that came for No Prep Kings.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in the 10 to 12. Hey, that's a lot of folks that could walk right by a drag and drive pit area and see that and go, I think I do want to give that a shot, and then can hit up, Rocky Mountain Race Week, which is going to be in Tulsa in a couple weeks, or one of the other events that are a little farther away throughout the year. So it's exciting, but I,
Yeah.
I want to appreciate them doing that and letting me get in there. And that's David Max in there. He was calling me just a minute ago. Sorry, bud. I ended up sending him a text. We may have to go to dinner while I'm here, of course, for sure. But I do want to give a shout out to the racers that are coming: Red Hat Scotty, Keaton Maxon, Jan Haas, Dustin Cottle, Mike Anger, Jared Aspergren, Joey Marshall, and Tina and David Pierce are all going to be kind of in that pit area. And then I want to say thanks to Summit for providing gift cards. We're going to give out 3 $100 gift cards from Summit. And then Racing Junk Classified sent 3 banners as well. So I'm pumped to be able to give those out as well. So we'll be drawing for the banners, but the $100 gift cards go to racers that, what would decide longest drive, best reaction and eliminations, and then uh, best reaction and eliminations, and what was the other one? It's furthest drive, reaction. Oh, and who goes the deepest in
Yep.
their class. So
Um, are you gonna have any kind of like a booth or anything set up near these cars?
no, I don't. I will not have time to
Mm,
spend. I'm going to try and spend some time down there, but it's really going to be pretty tough. So my plan is to. I'm hoping with the layout that we are close enough to where we can bring the roaming camera out and get some shots and do some interviews with those guys for the Flow Racing live stream. And then I'll also be going live on Midwest Drag Race Series Facebook and YouTube channel to kind of help build momentum for the event, but then also, if I'm going to be over there, I'm going to be hitting up those guys and talking to them and see how all that is. So that's kind of my plan. I think that's the way we can help promote drag and drive within obviously a drag racing centric race series. So this
yeah.
is a test for everyone that's out there, and for the racers that are coming. This is a test. We're going to try this out, and if it goes well, fingers crossed, um, I should be able to implement this at other Midwest Drag Race Series events as well.
Cool.
Which kind of leads us into the next thing, which is Hot Rod Drag Week doing their Drag and Drive Invitational this weekend in New England at New England Dragway, New England, whatever it is, in Epping. So that's going to be amazing. They've got a crazy list of racers up there. So this is obviously Mike Galemmy's a big part of putting this together at Motor Trend, and NHRA, just come off of Route 66 and having Tom Bailey and Alex Taylor and Bryant Goldstone and all those racers that were there. Now we're doing this Midwest Drag Race Series. Now NHRA is adding the Drag Week Invitational. So they have Glenn Hunter, one of my favorite guys in cars, Frank Romano, Rick Steinke, Jeff Oppenheim, Tony Nimchek, which is exciting. That's the Eagle Talon, right?
Yep.
All-wheel drive Eagle Talon should be crazy to watch. And then Jason Russo, Mark Cicino, and the ringleader and the guy that helped put it all together, as Mike Galemmy says, Jeff Cias. So that'll be kind of cool. And Jeff's is like a all motor, small block, low 9 second, high 8 second car. So, I think that's probably a great group, one of the greatest group of racers to represent drag and drive that you're going to have, especially like that part of the country is big time drag race folks. And to have those folks out, you've got, a big list of everybody that's going to be out. So drag and drive's taking over, man. I hope they're ready.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
That
gonna
is
be
for
pretty
sure.
cool.
Yeah. And of course, you can watch that NHRA.tv. You can see those coming up. They are running the NHRA and Drag Week deal is going to be run like the Tom Bailey and Alex Taylor deal, like an exhibition race within itself to where you end up with a winner. Our deal with Midwest Drag Race Series is not like that. It is these guys are getting into whichever class they fit in the best. And then, we're going to be watching them race throughout the weekend, which my thought, and my brain works a little differently than most, I would say, but my thought is that allows us to spread the drag and drive out. So for those guys that are watching, and I'm going to create a Facebook group after this because I got to tell you where to park and all that stuff, but as you fill out your tech card, make sure you put in there that you're in the drag and drive display, because that will alert the announcers. If I'm not standing in the room there when you guys come up, that'll alert the announcers that, hey, this is something to call out during that. And again, draw fans. We hate fans to come out of the stands, but if they're going to be out, maybe they're going to look for that drag and drive display and talk to those guys and see that. I mean, none of those cars are out of the realm of what somebody can build relatively quickly. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot of time that goes into setting that car up, but you could have, a Fox body like Red Hat Scotty's or a Turbo LS S10 like Keaton Maxon's in the matter of a few months, just putting
Hmm.
together some parts and things like that. Now, it won't run as good as theirs because they've had time putting them together and testing them, but you can have those and get out there and drive them. And that's kind of the thing. Well, speaking of driving, look
I
who's going
saw
to be
this.
at Six Summer.
I saw that.
Dude, I can't wait to see this car.
Yeah,
So,
it's been out for a little bit after the
yeah,
the little accident that happened, but
yeah, Rocky Mountain
definitely.
or at Race Week 2021, the same event that I have not raced at. I haven't done a drag and drive since the same event. Crushed my heart when this car slid against the wall, and that's why I haven't been back.
Well, if he's coming back, that means you better get your stuff
That
together
means
and
it's
come back.
time. Yeah, mine was just a transmission. His was like a whole rebuild.
Yeah. Yeah, so
So,
this will be cool to see. I'll be excited to check this out at Byron,
yeah,
obviously day one. That'll be the good thing being there day one is being able to see
yeah,
everybody come in. Nobody should be broken by then, so it'll be cool
yep.
to get to go around and check out everybody's car. And this will be one that I'll definitely be getting some photos of.
Yeah, well, and you're going to be there for day zero as well, right? Like for tech and things like that.
I believe so. I think
On
I'm going to
Sunday?
be able to
Yeah.
make it on Sunday.
Nice. Even for just a little bit, that'd be awesome because, dude, that's when you can really see everybody because they're all in one spot.
Yep.
Day one may be tough because, man, it's amazing. If I thought my car was on the edge, I'm not making a pass on day zero. I'm not making a
Right.
test run. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna get that first pass on day one and then have to go home. So yeah, I'm excited to see Doug's car back out. This car should be really, really fast.
Yeah. And it's just a nice car, and I've got a
Mhm.
thing for Novas, so it all just kind of wraps up to be definitely something worth checking out.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, let's move to the Molly Motorsports Copilot Spotlight. I'll read the ad if you want to run us through the Copilot this week
Uh,
because you put all that together. Attention, high performance. Uh, hold on. Let me back
Hold please.
Hold please, restart. Attention, high performance enthusiasts and sportsman class racers. Meet the Molly Motorsport Power Pack Kit, your ultimate solution for power pack performance. The Power Pack pistons are made from either 4032 aluminum alloy to allow for tighter cylinder to wall clearances and improved temperature stability, or 2618 alloy to allow for increased detonation resistance. Tailored for various engine families from small block Chevrolet to Volkswagen and Audi, Molly has you covered. What sets Molly apart? Forged pistons, graphol coating, and phosphate treatment for peak performance and durability. Elevate your ride with Molly Motorsport, where performance meets precision. Unleash the power within. Visit mollymotorsport.com for more details. And for all of those podcast listeners out there, Molly is spelled Mahle. All right. Lead us in here, man. Tell us about this week's co-pilot because I have not seen this one.
Yep. So this week's co-pilot spotlight was sent in by Rod Harder of Rodney's Rides. So his car is a 64 Mercury Comet, and his co-pilot is Dave Kublik. So one of the questions we ask is tell us a story about how your co-pilot saved the day. So he writes, picture the scene. We just finished building the car and left the garage 3 hours late for an 8-hour journey to a drag strip for the car's first ever run down the track. We rolled up to tech late, only to get disqualified for the emergency shutoff not turning off the alternator. As a result of the earlier Mad Thrash, we had tested every other circuit with the shutoff except the most obvious one. The struggle is real. We had no large wire to run and no time to go into town to buy one. I went to the dark side as verified no other racer had a heavy gauge wire, and I contemplated the approaching reality of not getting to make one pass after all that work. Luckily, Dave ever so calmly and all Joe Cool like searches the car hauler and finds an orange extension cord. After looking at it for all of 10 seconds, he chops the ends off, twists all 3 wires together at the other end, hammers a couple of holes through the firewall, and we find out that it works and we get the okay. We tested, tuned, and changed everything during a couple runs Saturday, entered the sportsman competition Sunday just to get more runs in as testing exercise for a drag and drive coming up soon. And against all logic, we won the 22 car class.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yep. How cool is that?
Yeah.
And then the other question here was tell us a funny story about your co-pilot. He said he kept trying to calculate fuel mileage, and I kept thinking, that's weird, man. No one builds a race car for fuel mileage. Also, by day 4 around 3:30 p.m. as we're leaving the track after 6 passes for another long drive, I was getting hungry after not eating lunch for 4 days straight. I say to my co-pilot, "Oh, I could sure use some lunch for once." Dave just turns to me and says in a shut down that manner, "What's the matter, Rodney? You had breakfast." We broke out into laughter and buckled down for the drive with only a vague hope of a late night supper. Good man.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So
What a
thanks,
great story.
thanks, Rodney, or Rod, for putting that in. Again, you guys, if you guys want to highlight your co-pilot, go to dragdriverepeat.com. There is a Molly co-pilot spotlight link. You can
Mhm.
go in there, fill it out, tell us your name, the car, your co-pilot, and then there's about 3 or 4 questions you can fill out. Uh, Tell us a story about your co-pilot to save the day, ruin the day, and I think tell us a funny story. So we enjoy doing these. It's great to hear these stories.
Yeah.
These two were obviously well written, so they made it really easy for us to tell the story, and it's just a cool thing that I enjoy doing. So if you guys want
Yeah.
to do that, head over there and fill that out.
Yep. Yeah. Awesome story there. Well, let's lead into the well, let's thank our race car friends. You want to go ahead and thank our race car friends, and then we'll move into the Howard Scam segment and bring Brandon Parker on.
Yep. Again, guys, thank you guys for watching. Comments, views, shares, likes, all that stuff. We appreciate it. Again, that's what keeps us going. That's what gets these notes done. Mike late at night, or me writing everything for the show, that we can make this as best as we can for you guys. And thanks to our sponsors, obviously, helping us get to these races: Summit Racing, Driven Racing Oil, Molly Motorsports, Car Change 3D, Howard's Cam, Performant-Built Transmission, Sweet Patina, Racing Junk, and our newest media partner, PowerTube TV.
Yep. Awesome. Well, we got a little bit of stuff to catch up on here. A gentleman's agreement. Listen, you know it. We know it. Do your part. Hit the follow and subscribe button. We'll do our part and continue to provide coverage for drag and drive racers and races. And our Howard's Camp community segment. You want to hit that video there of Harris from Monoxide Podcast giving us a just sweet buttery ad read here.
Yep, you bet.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Harris from the Monoxide Podcast. Real quick, Howard's Cams was founded as a racing cam manufacturer almost 80 years ago when Howard Johansson created Howard's Power and Racing Equipment in 1945. Howard's Cams has always used on-track experience to design the most powerful designs, and today they have an even greater group of experienced racers in circle track, drag racing, road race, mud bog, and marine. They use all this input plus the most advanced computer software to design the most competitive race-winning products. From pioneers in drag racing and oval track to cutting-edge marine development, Howard's Cams is at the forefront of the industry. So make sure to reach out to our friend Luke B for your next valve train upgrade.
I want to say thanks to Harris for doing that. He's a great dude. And if you're not following the Monoxide podcast, you need to do that. He's almost at episode 100. He's been crushing it, man. He's been pushing real hard, trying to keep that as a full-time gig. You know, he doesn't want to get a regular job. Like, so
And we get
yep.
that.
Yeah, he's a young man, and I really like the way he does the storytelling and the interviews. It's really interview based for a lot of the stuff on it. All right, well, let's talk about one of our folks that's going to be racing this weekend, Mr. Jan Haas. You saw he took sorry, you read it. Jan Haas posted on Facebook, and you tell us what he did because you wrote the notes here.
Yeah. So he posted on Facebook that he took his lady on a fun local cruise yesterday. So Memorial Weekend branched Oak Lane Cruise 2024 had over 100 cars, and he found a couple of race car friends with him to roll with. How cool is that?
Yeah,
Big
they're all
variety of
over it.
vehicles. Yeah. Big variety of vehicles, great weather, and a good time.
Yeah, it looks like
So
they had a blast.
yep. So a couple photos here. You can see those guys there. Steve Brule retired from West Tech. Oh, is that?
Yeah,
Oh, that's the next one.
Yeah, that's the next little bit here. Steve Brule, which everybody knows from Engine Masters. I'm sure you guys have all seen those videos. If you're a car guy, you've watched Engine Masters. He's the dude that's running the throttle at West Tech. He's retired like crazy, 28 years or 32 years or something like that. And so David Freiberger posts, it's the end of an era. The Dyno Brain is retiring. Steve Brule, who you know from the Engine Masters show and many years of magazine stories, is a friend and mentor. Yesterday, we calculated that we have been testing engines together for 25 years, but yesterday was the emotional last time.
That's
So
wild.
I want to ask you, because I looked this up, how many episodes do you think Steve Brule appeared in Engine Masters?
Oh my gosh.
I'll even give you an over under.
25 years.
Well, now Engine Masters hasn't been running for 25 years, but
Okay.
Engine Masters the show.
Are we in the triple digits?
Yes.
Okay. Oof. Let's
Yeah.
start with 125.
Yeah, 157 episodes.
That's
Pretty
crazy.
man. Yep. And obviously, he did that show as fun. I would think that's probably how it worked out. Was like it was just fun to get in there and do that with David Freiberger, and they're testing stuff all the time. But 157 episodes, and I mean, he retired from West Tech, which was Chris Story, pretty close. He was I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of episodes to do that with. But then 30, I think it was 32 years he had been at West Tech.
That's
So it's pretty
wild.
cool. Yep, that's pretty cool. I see Chris Story asks where I'm at. I'm in Kansas City for the Midwest Drag Race Series event up here this summer. Smackdown, Pro Mods, Funny Cars, Top Sportsman, Top Dragster, Pro 420. Man, it's going to be a crazy way. 2 classes of juniors. I think we're going to have like 30 juniors on the property. So it's going to be a great weekend. But let's get into the fun stuff, because you did something this weekend that you probably shouldn't have. So tell us what all you did.
Yeah, so one of the reasons that I don't have a lot of miles on the foxbody is because I had too small of a radiator. So you can
Mhm.
see in the picture on the left, it's kind of hard to see, but it's a small radiator. It's a Honda Civic size radiator. For those that don't know the backstory, this car was only going to be a track car, bracket car, because I had never built a drag car, and that was what I decided I was going to do, and thus the foxbody came to be. Well,
Mhm.
obviously, getting into drag and drive like this, I decided I want to drive the car. I want to go do some events. So while at a swap meet last year, I picked up this radiator that you can see on the right side. So my plan was I'm going to take out the old radiator and put the new radiator in and then drive the car, right?
Yep.
Perfectly running car, other than it just doesn't stay cool.
Yeah.
Well, As you can see, the radiator did fit, but
Mhm.
it was pretty tight. So I wasn't really a fan of that. Obviously, I don't want hot exhaust next to the thing that's supposed to cool the engine, right? Yes, it does.
Yeah,
Or I should say it did.
did. Yeah.
We'll get there. Um, so I took the radiator out, put the new radiator, set it in there, mocked it up, didn't like it. So then I took the exhaust off. Okay. No big deal. We'll redo the exhaust.
Yeah, no problem.
I took the exhaust off and I was like, boy, those iron heads are real ugly. I've got other iron heads sitting around or other aluminum heads sitting around. So then we took some more stuff off and
Dude, what the heck?
so intake comes off, heads comes off, all this stuff comes off. Well, I thought, while it's this far apart, why don't I hit up our boy Luke B at Howard's Cam and let's throw a cam in this thing?
Mhm.
Right now, it's assembled. Everything's hand bolted together to keep debris out of it, but I went ham and just decided I am going to order the parts that I need, and we're going to get this thing going because
Yeah.
I need to get into an event.
Yeah.
I can only sit on here and talk about this for so long without doing one.
Yeah.
So Motion Raceworks, I ordered the foxbody steering column and quick release. So right now it's a factory column that I ripped everything off that didn't need to be there. But last year I bought the MPI steering wheel drag wheel
Mhm.
and bolt onto the setup that's in there. So I thought steering column, good upgrade. Comes with a quick release. I can run the new drag wheel on it. I also got the billet turn signal to go with it. I have a turn signal wired in, but it's just a rocker switch. So obviously,
Mm.
it'll be a nice little upgrade for that. I've got multiple cords. I've got trans brake, bump box, line lock, multiple buttons. So hey, let's buy the mono cord kit for that as well, so I can run one cord. The other thing that needed to be done still was I had no boost controller set up. I have a leash boost controller and bump box that I had purchased last year, but I don't have a CO2 setup or anything. So went ahead and bought that as well. Bought the bottle, the regulator, the mount, all that stuff. So then I did all that, and I'm like, I remember Jay Blanchard from J Wire Solutions had a horn mount. So obviously, drag and drive car, I'm going to need a horn. So
Yeah.
I jumped over to J Wire, ordered the horn button mount for that motion turn signal. And then I realized he's also got a heater bypass block off. So obviously, I was having a problem cooling the engine, small radiator. I already didn't have a thermostat in it anyway. So I decided, hey, let's order one of those too. And then so got all that. Again, I hit up Luke B and said, "Hey, I've got the car torn apart. What do you say? Let's get a Howard's cam put in this." So he spec'd me out a cam and a spring kit. So we got a 625 lift cam coming. Uh, I don't remember his exact words here, but he said it's more cam than you'll need and you'll love it.
Yes. Yes.
So other upgrades that are coming, bigger injectors are going in the car. I've already got those. With the aluminum heads that I threw on the car for now, I don't know if you can see in this picture, and I don't know if I got it in the other one. I don't. You can see the iron head sitting off to the left side.
Mhm.
Right off the picture, you can see the set of aluminum heads sitting
Yep.
there. If you look over on the right above the little pit bike, there's more aluminum heads over there. There's two sets of heads sitting over there. So
Yeah.
if you guys
Yeah.
don't know, I've got a lot of LS parts.
Yeah.
So
Chris Story said it best. Eric got hit big time by the since we're in here bug.
exactly. I think was it Derek Putnam said snowballing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I already threw on chromoly push rods that I had, rockers with trunnion upgrades, pulled the cast iron heads off, got aluminum heads. I've got a spare set that are sitting over there off to the right that are been decked and have a valve job on it. So I'm going to get those ones actually built and put on. I got new short headers so that I can redo the hot side so it stays away from the radiator this time. I got the new radiator. I've got a FFP trunk strut kit because I have a piece of wood holding the trunk up. And
Mhm.
oh, I can't think of his name offhand. The owner of FFP was in a drag and drive group and saw the picture and reached out and said, "Hey, I've got something that'll solve your problem there." So I got that to put on. And then I ordered turbo guards. Obviously, I don't want anything getting in those turbos when we are doing drag and drives. And with that, I haven't announced this yet, so this is the first time that anybody's going to hear about it. I have an affiliate program with Turbo Guards, so very soon I'll be able to offer 10% off the entire order at Turbo Guards using code 815 LSX swaps.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So the plan is going to be a couple more items I still need to get, but the plan is use sponsor parts as much as I can. So we'll have a Howard's cam in it. I'm going to be ordering stuff from Summit. I'll use Molly head gaskets. I'm going to try to hook up with Driven Racing Oil, get some oil from them. And even Kart Chains 3D has a couple things. He's got my shifter console right now, and he's designing some cup holders for that. So as many sponsor parts as I can put on this is going to be the better. So that's that's the plan on where the car is currently after I tried to fit a bigger radiator in it.
That's awesome. Well, and again, that's the whole reason we bring the sponsors we do on board. It's not just, hey, will you be our sponsor? It's how can you help the community? What do you offer to the community and things like that? So, dude, this is awesome. This is great. And just so everybody knows, it's working. Our peer pressure has worked. Eric is upgraded. Now, next winter when it's time to upgrade, he's going to be looking at a 4L80, and it's just going to keep snowballing. So, congratulations, dude! I'm so excited. You ordered all those parts and took the leap into that. And I mean, who knows when what event's going to be out there and see.
Yes, Red Hat, Scotty. That is something that I didn't have on my notes here. Yes, a fuel pressure regulator is coming for those bigger injectors too. I use this Corvette regulator when I do swaps because it's super easy just to get things running, and then you can swap a nicer fuel pressure regulator. But those are a filter and regulator combo. So when you're first doing a swap, those things are great to throw on there and just get things running.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, let's bring in our guest here in just a second. This guy, I said it earlier, he's one of my favorite folks, great friend. Him and I talk a lot through Messenger and stuff, and several times at events. He has a ton of great qualities, but I think maybe my favorite is his ability to find awesome cars and post them every Friday in his It's Friday Act Like It social media posts. Great stuff. We're going to talk about where he finds those. You guys will probably know Brandon from obviously he raced at the circuit in the Volkswagen. He has been to a ton of events, and we're going to let him tell those stories. I'm really excited for him to be on tonight. So let's bring him on now, have him introduce himself.
Hey, guys.
Welcome to the show, sir. How are you this evening?
Very well. How are you? Oh my gosh, my green screen beard is looking nice.
Dude, yeah. I'm so jealous. Yeah. Your beard game is on point.
Thank you kindly. The forehead game also more like a 5-head, so we're doing well tonight. We're doing well.
Hey, that's all right. That's what happens. All of it comes here. It doesn't have to go here anymore because now you can wear it.
Yeah. I've effectively grown out of my hair is what's happening. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, guys, listen, hit the share button as we get into this. We've got a really good conversation that's going to be on tonight. This is a long time coming, man. You've probably should have been on a long time ago. You've helped me in a lot of ways. You actually hauled my suitcase to Florida for me more than once, I think.
Yeah, I think every sick week so far we've done that for you.
Yeah. So appreciate that for sure. Well, get into it, dude. Tell us who you are and what you do outside of Drag and Drive.
Yeah. So hi, my name is Brandon Parker. I live about an hour or a couple hours south of Mike here in Fort Smith, Arkansas. I work at a prosthetics clinic. I myself have been disabled, and so I'm kind of like the patient liaison kind of guy there and secretary as well. So I help people with the patient scheduling, but also helping them with like different kind of programs and getting them back to work and helping with different grants and stuff like that. There's a lot of the kind of like the donut hole kind of stuff where people are able-bodied to do kind of some things, but not the other stuff. And so there's I kind of help and assist them get either back into some kind of training for job training, or help them figure out ways to get things paid for in their home, like for accommodations for like toiletries and bathrooms and kitchens and those kind of things. And so that's what I do, and that's what I do as a job now. But yeah, so
here's something funny about car guys. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All I know is super fun dude that we hang out at Dragon Drive events.
Yeah, it's one of those deals that it's so funny. You'll see like the Instagram things where like guys be just like, and they won't know each other's names. That's the same thing. Like there's so many people and that's some of the best part about the Dragon Drive stuff is you may not know that guy's name, but you'll know his car, you'll know his setup, and then you'll see him, and it's like the point across the parking lot thing, and it's like, oh, there you are. And so like that to me is like the biggest, the most fun of all these events. Where you get to see these guys, year or event after event and watch them try to progress or change their combo. And it's just to see all the folks. That to me is the exciting bit about it. It's just getting to meet all these people and have different friends from all over the place. Because I mean, half the fun is meeting these. That's the fun of it. Is drag racing is awesome. Don't get me wrong, but getting able to meet all these people and do all these other things at the same time. It's just so much fun. It's just a different kind of socializing that you can't really find in other places. It doesn't have the same vibe as like just going to a car show. It's more energetic.
Oh yeah. Well, dude, tell us like how did you get into Dragon Drive?
So
that's where we met.
Yeah, so the Dragon Drive. So I got into it my wife and I. We first started going to hot rod pump gas drags when it was in Memphis, like in the early 2000s. So that's where I got started, like watching that stuff. And then when they started Drag Week, you see it in the magazines, and I thought, man, that is like the coolest thing I have ever seen. I have to figure out how to be a part of this. And so then it's kind of like that lull period that everyone talks about. And then in the last few years, or since I guess what would that be, 20 exactly, something like that, or 19 after the pandemic I guess even with the pandemic, when you talk about Rocky Mountain 2, is that these people, it reinvigorated everybody to like, oh man, I think I need to get out and see my buds and like use my car and be out and have these adventures. It's in like what everyone says, it's like don't get it right, just get it running and get it out there and fun, because that's half the fun of it, is those weird things like you were saying in the co-driver thing, Eric, where the guy made the wire out of the extension cord, just like those, that kind of stuff. That's like the fun of the deal. Or hearing like the goofy stuff that happened, or it's like invariably it's always I brought everything but, and then that's that's those kind of things. It's just that's the whole fun of this stuff. But yeah, so when I was in high school and college, I had, we'll talk about this later, but I had an Austin Mini, but I had a couple of Camaros. I had a 1968 Camaro and also a 2002 that I would drag race a little bit, but never really anything serious. Then I got off into school and got married, and that kind of went by the wayside for a while. And so now in these last few years, more free time has opened up. And so getting back into the car stuff and doing more of that and getting to go to these events has been just such a treat. And so, I think it's one of those things that once you go to one of these, there's a line in the sand. Either you want to go to every single one after this, or that was the worst thing you've ever experienced in your life. But I'm on the lighter side, where it's like you want to do every one of them. You just have, because it's in each one, and each promoter has like a different take or a different way to get people involved, and that is the fun to see. There's just so many different events and a number of events. It's just it is hard to like put a schedule together to get to work and figure out how to make all these different events work as well. But like this year, in our location, we're extremely fortunate with Ozark and Mocan and Tulsa. Like it seems like the whole drag racing world's going to be running through our area, and that I can't wait, and it's exciting. And I think that's one of those things for the people that live in this part of the country. They don't get to see that kind of stuff, and so seeing them on the street is just that's the stuff people don't. When you see it, it's neat to hear about it, but then when you take someone to their first Dragon Drive and they see these cars, they're like, "What are you talking about?" I've taken my nephew and my niece on these, and they're just they're like, "Oh yeah, I kind of get what's going on," and then they see the cars and they're like, "Oh no, I had no idea that you could do that," and then just go and also drive around and have a great time.
Well, and I think one of the funnest things for folks that typically they go to the track often is to then pull in, and there's not like hundreds of trucks and trailers.
Oh,
there's hundreds of cool cars.
Oh, and I think that's the one thing too. And I think that in a different way, it makes it more approachable when it's just the cars, because you feel like it's just like yeah, I mean, it's the best part of it because it's like a rolling car show and they drag race. I mean,
well, and you're not really it's going to sound bad, but you're not like invading their space, right?
no,
Yeah,
no,
you don't.
yeah.
You're not.
If somebody has a truck and
Yeah, you see the awning out, you're like, oh no, they've got a program. I don't want to.
I don't want to be in the way. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But and that's the thing. But I think that on the other hand, I think that's the opposite side with the drag and drive because people want to know what your car is or where you're from or how'd you hear
what
about
kind of gas mileage does it get?
Exactly. Yeah, you never know. You never know. It could be the deal. You never know if someone's going to show up with a diesel and just run the whole event on one tank. You never know. But yeah, I mean that's the fun of the whole stuff there for sure.
So what were you into before drag and drive?
Before drag and drive stuff, that's where like I grew up. I had a 1966 Austin Mini that I drove in high school and college, and that we would go to Hallett a lot and do like a lot more like the lapping days and road racing stuff with that.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would do. That was just a little bit easier because I wish I had the picture pulled up, but I would literally put the car in a 10x6 U-Haul trailer and then go to Hallett and have a blast. That was the fun. That was the real fun car that I had I still own that car. I've had it since 2001. And
oh wow.
Right now it's in Boonville at my friend Tom's shop. He's putting a hand clutch in it. Due to the form of muscular dystrophy that I have, I can't really articulate a clutch anymore. And so with this, I'll be able to use my hand to shift or to activate the clutch so I can shift it and get back to driving the car, which is
I love that.
This car is it's me as a person. Like you can't be mad in the car. I'm sure you guys have had cars like that. You may have a car like that now where you get in it and you can't be upset. It brings a smile to your face. It brings a smile to everybody else's face. And that's what this car is. And so, it's just, I'm really pumped to get back in it. It's one of those things. I probably haven't driven it in like 15 years. So it's a long time coming. And so I'm really excited to get back in it. And then, I hope to bring it up to the circuit and then just have a good time as well. Cause that was a car I used to drive. I mean, I've driven all over the place. So I'm excited to get back in it and do more of that for sure.
Here, hang on just a second. Let's stay on that conversation because I'm going to bring it up because you did send it to me earlier.
Oh, with the Mini. Yes. Yeah. So this car originally, when I first bought it, I was looking for a van. A mini van, and then that car had sold, and so the gentleman had just imported the car that I have now from New Zealand. There it is in the back corner right over here.
Yes.
So yeah, originally that car had
it's adorable.
That is one way to put it. Yes. It is. It's not very large. It is not very large, but they're inside. It's the inside. Inside's big. So more roomy than you think. But yeah, so that originally came with a 848cc engine that had like 30 horsepower, and so now it's a big 1.3 liter 1380 cc's, whopping like 66 horsepower, but it's just so much fun. It makes all the right noises. It's a real
So
fun.
hang on, did you bore and stroke this?
This is a complete different, like this is like the engine and transmission. The engine that was in it developed a rod knock and then died a terrible death. And so then this is a complete different engine and transmission. The interesting part about this variety of engine is that the gearbox is the oil pan. So the engine and the gearbox share the same oil. So it takes like an inordinate amount of oil for an oil change, just because it's for the transmission as well. And it also means that the oil changing intervals are ridiculously short. And so even to that, on the automatic transmissions, it's the same. So the automatics use the same engine oil. So the oil change on those is like 2,000 miles, and you have to use like straight dyno oil. Otherwise, it'll just leak like a sieve.
That's crazy.
Yes.
How fun.
It's and I think that's like I think your brother Steven can attest to this. It's the small car stuff. We're both not the heightiest of folks, and so it makes it stuff more fun. Definitely.
Well, and I think it's always fun to pull in with something that's just completely abnormal.
Exactly. And I think that's one of those things, you hear about like the belly button cars, like 55s and, first gen Camaros. Everyone's seen those, or Novas or Chevelles. And so, when you get to see something funky, that's the coolest stuff, It's the one that sticks out from this year was that Ford F-100 with the boat trailer from Sick Week.
Oh, Michael
I mean,
Hudson, love that.
That was awesome. When you saw
Dude.
that pull up with the orange like plexi scoop, I was like,
Yes.
that's the jam.
Yes, yeah. He's
yeah.
going to be on like one of the next few episodes telling their whole story. The Bucket List Mob is on YouTube. Great channel to follow. Amazing folks.
And then those are those kind of things. Yeah, and also that all-wheel drive Fiesta that was out this year, the red one.
Yeah.
I mean, like those are the ones that I gravitate towards, and so it's been pretty cool because in the previous years for Sick Week and Sick Summer of Sick Week in the previous years and then Sick Summer last year, I helped do the tech-in lanes, and so I did some of the stickering on the cars and stuff like that, and that was a blast because you get to meet all the drivers and see all the cars come through, but you get like a different up close version of what the wild combos are because you'll hear an exhaust that you don't know, and you're like, wait a minute, hold on, what's going on over here? And so it's just a great chance to meet different drivers and get to see like a more up close version of that stuff. And so that's been real fun. It's been real fun, but it's also been real for myself kind of sad because Tanya and her team, they've got it so much more efficient that their need for some of the it's kind of waning, their need for the volunteers that they really run. They've got that down.
It's a tight ship. Well, and dude, 20 years and 30 something events now. I mean,
they have a system, and I mean it's no joke. And so I think that now it's I mean they've got it down, and it's nice, and especially too like with so many of the events doing like the speed lane where you can donate to a charity or however, that makes it so much easier, and it cuts down the stress on having to get up there, especially if you live further away where you don't have to worry about making sure that you're there at the right time.
Be there a day early.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. To hurry up and wait situation.
Yeah. Well, which events have you been a volunteer at? You said Sick Summer and Sick Week.
Yeah. So it would have been Sick Week of I guess the first three. So those three. I didn't do it this year, and then Sick Summer of last year I helped them do the tech and all that kind of stuff. So that was it's just a fun time. If that was I've only done those events like through Sick Ward, so this will be my first time competing at Sick Summer this year, which is coming in. And so I'm super excited. I mean, I've done your event 2 times, and it's like the circuit is. I mean, that's just a blast in itself. And it's and my niece and I, we had such a blast doing the scavenger hunt. And so one of the funniest parts on that is we pulled up. We were driving in Branson. So we pull up to the stop sign, we look over, and there's a Mustang. It's Aaron Roberts. And I was like, hey, we kind of like, look at, give each other like, hey, how's the thing? How's the going? Right. Is it okay? It's okay. Okay. Then when we get to the go-karts, he was like, so how'd you do? How'd you do, guys? And I was like, well, I don't remember what the number was. So we told him, oh, okay. He pulls out his phone and proceeds to give us a 10-minute slideshow.
Oh yeah.
The officer
800 points
him through the town, finding like every single checkpoint, even like the sub niche of the checkpoints. And so I mean, it was just one of those like, all right, well, you just absolutely put on a masterclass. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And so anyway, that's just one of those like absolutely like that struck us so fun. We laughed about that for so long just because completely unprompted. He had like the whole thing ready.
It was awesome to go through those pictures, and that was the whole thing, right? So I think you guys were in the 400 range. So like so listen, we had 2 teams. There were probably 10 or 12 teams that competed with the scavenger hunt. We had 2 teams at 800, and then a plethora of teams around 400 points. Like there was really no one between those. It was like 405, and then these 2 tied at 800. Crazy.
They absolutely stomped us.
Yeah. It was awesome. But I say that to say that you guys did a great job because you were in the meat of like what I would say normal folks got.
But I mean, and I think that's the fun part of it is like because then there's so many places where we're like, oh, we should have stopped when we saw this there because we you just think that there'll be another be it a fire hydrant or whatever or and so that was so it was. it definitely puts you like in a different frame of mind, like while you're out driving around, and that
Well,
was
and
fun.
man, that was the whole purpose of the scavenger hunt, and I can't wait. We're going to do a scavenger hunt at Heads Up Hustle too, so I'm
Oh yeah,
pumped about having that with.
that's
Cause
yeah.
I don't know anything about any of that stuff up there, so I'm going to have to jump on Google and follow the route and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's what I mean. And that's one of those things that like they'll love it. I mean, it's just such a it adds just such another level of fun
Yeah, yeah.
to an already fun time.
Yeah.
Right. So when you're volunteering, what's that look like? Like, are you putting stickers on cars? Are you
Yeah,
checking
so
people in, all that
so
stuff?
they kind of
Because here's the thing: if you're going to be racing, they're going to need somebody to fill your shoes.
yeah, you're right. So it's pretty, works out pretty well. They generally kind of like rotate folks around, and so they'll depending on where you'll either the first couple of years I was helping kind of like direct the traffic into the lanes because it would go from like 2 to 3 to 5, and so trying to make sure that the cars were not just trying to like stack up on a couple of them, so make it spaced out evenly so they could get through pretty quickly. And then later on in different years, yeah, you do the different stickering for the different classes and stuff like that, which is it's funny because they have what like the event wants so that like they can read it from the tower, and then you have the drivers that are like, well, and you're like, okay, well, do you want them to call your car or not? I mean, I'm trying to, yeah, but there was some of them are it's neat to get pretty creative, especially with some of like there was guys that have like a Willys or something like that. They want to have a lot of back glass, and then there was a guy with Exotech.
Justin Chestnut with the Model A.
Yeah,
like his frame is this tall.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's what?
Yeah, there was what are those, the cobalt powered?
Oh yeah,
like
Goblin, DF Goblin.
Yeah, it had like a little thing, and he was like, "I think it'll fit here." Yeah, so it's just a fun to get all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it goes really well, and the crew. I mean, especially they've got it. It's just well done, and they know what they're doing, and so it goes smoothly. It goes smoothly.
So what do you enjoy about doing those roles? I know you had mentioned you get to talk to everybody, but what else is it about it that you really enjoy doing those volunteer stuff?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's just a great way. I like doing that stuff. Well, I mean, because it helps the event, but it's also like you get to be like on the inside of the event in a way. That part's real fun, and so where you it feels like the drivers let their guard down in a different way because they're trying to. They want to make sure they're not flying afoul of something, and so it's a really great way to kind of open up a conversation. I generally, you can ask my wife. I don't have a problem talking to anybody, and so for me, it's a great way to like meet a lot of folks and find out a whole bunch of stuff. And so I got to meet a whole bunch of neat folks from doing that. One guy that I just love. Jim Ebby, he drove that Pierce, the air-cooled Pierce.
Yes.
That guy, I got to meet him. That's how I met him. And so, here's a guy that I've been in contact with for like 4 years. That guy is funny. And, just one of those things that like, how else would you meet this guy that has an air-cooled Pierce and like all these other cars?
Now, so for folks that don't know, that's like the 1919 or 1925 car that ran like 20 seconds and competed every day a sick week. I think it was 2022. His first time out. Yeah, I think he came back out in 23 with something else. But super cool. Rebuilt the whole thing by himself. This car had wood as the body.
The frame and the wood. It's like he has to stop every 100 miles and like oil the valves. And I mean it's just, and that's the other that's the kind of stuff. I mean, yes, it's awesome to see the fast cars and somebody run a wild number. And this is, like as per the Cooper Brigetti podcast, this is the Brett LaSalla ding, ding, ding thing, that's awesome to see. But at the same time, when you see the oddball combos of stuff, like, who would have thought to drag race this? But yes, I'm glad this is here. That's it's like the same thing with like the Mopar van guys that come out and run those turbo front wheel drive vans. Those are awesome.
Yeah.
You'd love to see those.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let's talk about your car. I'm going to pull up some pictures.
Okay.
Let's talk about the Volkswagen. So I was corrected a couple days ago by Chris Story. I thought this car was front wheel drive because of the radials on the front, but I showed the picture a minute ago. It's got radials all the way around now. So tell us about this. What is it? Golf R, right? Why this car? Why? How much fun do you have with it?
So this car is like for me, it's the cool. It does all the things that you want it to do. It is a Golf R. It's a 2016 Golf R, but all the drivetrain is out of an 18 Audi RS3. So it has a 5-cylinder Daza. So it's a 5-cylinder turbo car. Then it has an upgraded DQ500 out of RS3, and then also an upgraded rear differential that's out of that car as well. So basically, it's just those cars are on the same platform. So you open the hood, it looks completely stock, and then like so it does. It's like the cool. So think of it as like the weird Copo stuff, but for Audis or Volkswagens, because they're all like the same platform, so you can just kind of like interchange all the bits. That's the most fun.
Nice.
And that's kind of like it's going to out me as like a Volkswagen guy. That's kind of like, I never would have thought that I was a Volkswagen guy, but I've had a ton of Volkswagen diesels, and now with this, my wife is also, we've just had a ton of Volkswagens. I'll just stop. But yeah, so this is awesome. It's all-wheel drive. It drives like a completely fine normal car. You can launch it on the launch control all day, and it doesn't care. It likes it. It wants to do that. It does. It gets. I mean, as far as the mile per gallon kind of a deal, it can get 25 miles per gallon pretty easily. It's just a really fun one. It looks like normal traffic and makes funny noises, and looks pretty cool on radials. So this car right now, it has a catless downpipe. It's on KW coilovers, and that's kind of the extent of the mods. I just recently I have upgraded the tune to a DS1 tune, so it's kind of like a off-the-shelf tune for the mods that I have for this car. And so I'll probably do some data logging over the next few weeks, and then send that off to a guy that helped. Basically, I had to send the computer off for him to get it tuned, and so I'll talk to him and see what else is available. That's the neat thing.
Is there a little more power we can have here, or
most assuredly, yeah. So this is like it's completely different. So like stock wise, it was like before it was effectively like a stock Golf. So it'd run a stock RS3. So it'd run 12.0 pretty consistently. So now it should be well into the 11s. I've now the other day, since I've had the radials put on all the corners, I've taken it out and launched it a couple times. And so it launches incredibly hard and actually uses like a lot more of it holds onto the shifts a lot longer, so it revs out a lot better, which helps it not to like feel as funky during the shifts. So I'm really exciting to see what it does. I hope to get hopefully the weather holds out in this area, because I want to take it out and do some more testing and kind of see what I need to. If any changes before we get out to that, because we'll be leaving, I guess, next weekend, I guess, to get up there to go to 6 Summer. It's right around the corner, man. And you had Eric up there too, right? You're going to be up there, is that right?
Yeah. That's my
there, at least Monday for sure. I'm trying to talk him into Sunday as well.
My hometown track, Byron.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a fun one. It's such a fun that. Yeah. Those are that's such a fun area, because and that's getting back to the whole fun part of the drag and drives. It's like multiple vacations in a vacation. And so you get to see all this stuff that you would never see otherwise. And the drives
I would never make the trip to Byron, Illinois drag strip, to Byron Dragway.
No.
Of course, I would go to see Eric, but you know what I mean? That's that would be the only reason. And there's so many people that make a trip to a drag and drive, and they're going to tracks that they've never been to and will never go to again. So it's kind of
and I think and I think that's one of those things that it's exactly to experience those things, and I think that's another part that I think is so exciting about the once a year sick stuff. I mean, that's just that lightning in a bottle kind of a thing. It only happens once, and then that's it. And I think that's the FOMO part does play into that,
and I hope that we kind of help that across the country and world, because I hope people are like, man, it looks like those guys are having fun.
I mean, but that's the deal. I mean, but you see so many more people that are coming from overseas to these events and keeping cars here just so they can compete. That's the exciting part to me. That when you go to these events and you see the folks that have come from. I mean, there's a ton of folks that come from all over Europe, from Australia, and the bug guys. Oh man, when the bug guys come over, those are just awesome to watch too. So it's
Well,
oh, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, go ahead, and then I want to talk about, because there's another guy that has a Golf R that was at Six Summer last year. So
Yeah.
I wonder if we're going to see some golf
If
on
he
golf
comes,
action.
if there will be some golf on golf crime. I mean, I'm going to be, I'll be in Sick Freaks. And I guess that car would be too, because it's all wheel drive.
Probably.
I probably, so so if he comes back, his car will probably be faster than mine. We'll see what happens. We'll
Hey,
see what happens.
you know how it goes. You got to make the week. He ran 11:30s last year. Like he had one
Yes.
that was like 11:27 or something like that. I was
Mhm.
looking at. I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
man.
So there's a, I don't want to say too much, but we'll see what happens. I'm cautiously optimistic. Cautiously
There
optimistic.
you go. That's
But,
cool, man.
and then that's kind of also the other reason for this car, as well as like for myself, I'm not as able to like work on it as much, and so this is a differently robust platform than, but I think it kind of goes back to that like built not bought kind of stuff, or bought not built. This is, this is kind of one of those things. This fits my needs a lot better, and it's something that, and again, it's kind of something that I can use and get into and have the same kind of enjoyment that other people get from, building the wild thing. And so, it's just a different way for everyone to have the different kind of enjoyment out of getting out and doing it.
Right.
Right.
Well, tell us about this Mini Cooper.
Yeah. So
why, what is it? What's the, I mean, we kind of went over a little bit of history earlier, but what's maybe the long-term plan?
So the long-term plan, well, man, yeah. So I just really, to get in and drive it some more. I want to be able to get back in going and doing some like more road course stuff. That's one thing I haven't been able to do in a while as well. So I hope to get it to where I can go out and take it on these events. There's like a lot of, in our area, they do some like different Ozark rallies and where they go tour around. And so being able to get in, do more of that kind of stuff. And also too, with the golf, I hope to get back into, since there was a weather problem, I hope to get into King of the Open Road that's in August with that one, which so anyway, but with the Mini, that was, that's kind of like one of those, like, I'll always have it kind of a car. It'll always maintain a spot. And so I don't know. I had planned on doing some other stuff. I had another Mini that I wanted to, like, obviously you want to put a Busa in it because that's what they need. But and then you think about maybe you want to put like a, some kind of Honda motor in them and all that kind of stuff. But the problem with those is it ruins them very quickly. And I think that's also one of those things that what I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about that. It may have been Cooper's podcast, where there's cars, they have there's different levels that you can go, and you can get like right outside of their power real fast. And so with the Minis, that's one of those things that people, they want to do these builds with with a B series or something like that, but it's just they're not enjoyable, and it kind of ruins the part that makes the Mini. Like, that the fun part of those is slow car fast. And so like you can drive that thing like a maniac and you're going 30 miles an hour, and it's so small that you can really feel like you're doing all these kind of fun things in the lane, weaving, and it's and again, but to your, it's kind of like the whole thing with a bike as well. You can just kind of put it anywhere, point it and squirt it and into traffic. And, that's the fun aspect of that car. I mean, it's so, in college, people would pick it up and like turn it sideways in spots, and so I'd have to wait for to
one of the cars to move so you could.
Yeah, definitely so. But but like I said, when we would take it places where I had to trailer it, I would just go rent a U-Haul and then put it up in the back of it. That was a pretty common thing that people would do, and so it's just a fun. It's a fun car that I got to meet. It's one of those, you get to meet just a whole bunch of fun people just because it's interesting, and they want to see it. It's the same thing with Steven's car, Adam Ant. They see that and then you gravitate toward it because you're like, that's, because someone they may have seen, like someone in their family may know something about British cars or something like that. But then when you get to see them in person and you're like, oh man, I didn't realize like that's small. That's a whole different thing.
Some uncle had one, and there's a great shot of Steven in the MG next to like a Honda Accord, And typically that car is like, oh, it's a normal size. Then you look at it next to like a Honda Accord, which is like a mid-size car, and it's just this little bitty tiny cute thing.
Oh yeah, and
it's adorable.
It is, and that's the one. You can't help but say it's adorable, and that's and I think that's one of those things. I don't know, something about that, like the 50s and 60s British cars. I don't know, man. Like, they just hit right. You can see over my shoulder. This is a Gilburn Invader Estate. So this anyway, just one of those weird cars that I'm just gravitated toward that stuff. And then like behind that is a Bug Eye Sprite. I mean, like the British cars like that, they've got, I don't know, just like a different personality to them. Not saying that American cars don't, but I think there's just differently quirky and just. I think it's also like that grass is greener on the other side kind of thing. You know, right. you see all of our stuff all the time, and so getting to see and be around something like that, it's just that's intriguing to me. Is kind of the unique stuff, those kind of things. It sounds really cheesy and corny, but that's the stuff that I'm attracted to, like the oddball builds, like why or weird engine combinations or stuff that doesn't need to be turbocharged, but like that. Oh man. That was that a Fairmont wagon that had that 300 turbocharged. It was a Ford 300 that was turboed. I think it was. I can't remember what color it was, but it had a big air gun in front of it. I think it was blue or something. Anyway, that car. It's just the combinations like that where it's like that sounds amazing. And then also like then Calvin's. I mean,
the 4200 stuff.
Love it, dude.
Yep.
Like
love it.
That stuff is awesome. Like those are the things that they want to see. I mean, I'm speaking on for everybody, but who doesn't want to see something like that? It makes right sounds.
The American Supra. That's such a cool build to me.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that's one of those deals that, like, if he gets that lined out, there's a lot of people that would love to buy, like a K member or whatever to help facilitate something like that, because that's going to be one killer combo.
Well, and again, those motors are just like LS stuff, good to 500. That's the problem you're going to have against that, is that it's going to be, that car already had an LS in it. So it's like really easy to put that into a V6 car that you bought cheap. But I think a lot of folks are going to want, I feel like the 4200, he needs to go into like that Chevrolet truck stuff, that old school truck stuff would be, a lot of folks would choose that engine because it originally had an inline six. Now it can have six again. You know what I mean? Like they can follow that. Yeah, and there's plenty of room under the hood, and you're not having to like cut a firewall or anything like that. And I think a dude like me, I mean, my old truck is obviously turbo LS, but if something ever happened with that, I mean, I would consider that setup because I think it'd be fun. You pop the hood and they're like, what the heck?
Oh yeah.
Why is there an inline six in here?
Well, especially I mean, and that's a whole nother thing is like, when you see or hear a truck with a 292 or a 250, you're like, hold on, wait a minute.
That's not an LS.
Yeah, that's not an LS or a V8. Like I need to know why, or what was the impetus for you keeping that. But yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I think that actually is a good call. That would be,
it'd be a lot of fun. It'd be a lot of fun. They make good power, 300 horsepower, pretty easy. So it would pull that old truck around.
Oh yeah. It would just be, and it would be the not an LS, which is also good. Yep.
So you're an advocate for folks with disability to come out and race. So
yes, sir.
Why do you race, and why should they as well?
I mean, I race because I really enjoy it. That's why that's always been my thing. If that's just being around that stuff.
Hang on, I think Damon's here. I'll be right back.
Okay. It's just a great time. That's just been my outlet of, that's just the thing that I think about all the time is cars and racing and those kind of things. And so that's been my outlet and my hobby. And so, it's really neat to see other people, differently abled folks get out and do that as well. It's a lot of it comes down to
we got just a few minutes and then we're all going to eat.
The bandwidth that it takes for a lot of that stuff, like for people that are disabled, they're having to think about a lot of other stuff. And so sometimes, for yourself, where you feel like you're at your limit of things you can process at once, that's kind of the stuff that where it takes a minute for me to get that kind of stuff going. So I can't do too many things at one time, if that makes sense. I'm already like inundated with like making sure I'm walking properly so I'm not going to fall or trip or stumble and those kind of things, or keeping my balance. And so getting able to see people out and doing that kind of stuff, because you see and hear different snippets about like different hand control setups and other things like that people use, and it's just real interesting. Oh, also too Square Force or just Chair Force One, is that it's Chris Roberson is his name, and that's awesome to see. Like he was out there with Jason, and they were. I mean, that's so awesome to see that and give people like. It's another way of showing people that it doesn't matter what your abilities are or what your car is. Get out there and have fun, because there's somebody that wants to see whatever you're running. They want to see that. It may not be the reason that it's fast, but there may be another thing about it or they're just there to support you, and like that's the part that I think is so exciting about this kind of stuff, is you just meet these people and you fall in love with, like, maybe you don't love their combo initially, but then you fall in love and you're their champion, but I mean, for whatever the reason, because like they're your race car friend. And I think that's the overall, like, for me, that's the most fun about all of this kind of stuff, is just meeting these people and then like getting to see the positive and generally like good vibes that everyone has. They want everyone to do well, and it's just a very differently uplifting stuff compared to different what you see in day-to-day life or wherever you get your media from.
Well, and I think that's probably the best thing about the drag and drive community is like everybody truly is a huge family. I posted the first like newbie prep interview I did with Jonathan Stonecipher and them, and that was what they talked about the whole time. It's family. It's family. Everybody's family. Everybody wants you to go. And it truly is, and that's what's really cool. Let's talk about this, and then I got to bounce. Let's talk about this. It's Friday. Act like it.
Yeah.
Because
so
if you guys aren't following Brandon Parker on Facebook, you need to do it right now. These are just some of the cars, dude. I went back through your Facebook. There are hundreds of these. And it's not like you post one a week. There's like it'll have 6 or 7 pictures within that single post. So I grabbed a couple of these.
Yeah.
Tell us where this idea came from and where you find these monstrosities.
Yeah, so I got the idea from an Instagram account. It's a guy that lives in Arkansas, and he has it's a satire account, but it would just be like one picture. It wasn't car related. It was just, something goofy that he found a picture of it. So I started doing it with car stuff just because for whatever reason I just find weird stuff like this. And the joke between a lot of my friends is, I'm constantly sending them crap through Messenger, and they're saying like, "Oh, yeah, another group that I'm not a member." And so it's just that's half the fun, is being a member of these crazy groups, and then you get to see this weird, wild content, and then going through like Craigslist and that kind of stuff, and posting this stuff and finding the stuff that people, I mean, they spend like their time and effort on doing this stuff, good, bad, or otherwise, and it needs to be shown off.
I agree. And I'm telling you, this van here that the people on the podcast are going to have to find this on YouTube or Facebook, but this van body in the back of a pickup, my brain was like,
yeah. I mean, think about how many like bad, like vans that like, terrible the trans is done, but everybody's got like a farm truck. Just cut them up, put them together,
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Who cares?
Or the dually HHR. Who knew you needed a dually HHR?
Dude, I didn't, but I do now. It looks so cool.
I mean, they look so tough. You're like, well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll drive that a little bit, but and a Mustang with a Continental kit, of course.
I mean, and then it's hilarious. The Banana actually was at XRP one year or last year when we were doing the Midwest Drag Race Series race, and they made a pass down the strip and everything. They were great dudes. Drive it all over the country. Super cool setup.
And those are the things like that where, you see this Corvette that mated with something else, and then a bunch of fiberglass. I
don't even know what that would have started as. I don't know. Like a street rod body.
Yeah,
the fiberglass street rod kits, and they're like, "Hey, come on," because it can't be like an SSR or something like that, right?
No. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it is. It's like, but that's I mean, God bless the Bondo and fiberglass on that one. I mean,
good luck, friends. I wish them luck.
Yeah,
crazy stuff. crazy there. So
No.
you just definitely have to follow Brandon. It's
Right,
it's a great follow. But what I will say about your Facebook page is we need more of you, bud. We
Oh
need
man,
more
you're too
of you.
kind. You're too kind.
We need more of you.
You're a super dude, and I appreciate you having me on. But yeah, I mean, it's so much fun to talk about this kind of stuff and basically just spread the word about Dragon Drives because gosh, I mean, you can't have. It's hard to think of a more fun way to spend time around looking at cars and seeing stuff that you would never see otherwise with awesome people. It's a win-win-win.
Well, and one of the things I thought about today in my driving, I had a lot of windshield time. It's like a car guy vacation truly, because there's a lot of high level racer guys that are in drag and drive and they just want to have fun.
Oh
right?
yeah.
So I hope we never get to the point to where it's over the top. Where we're going to have a situation where people are chasing money, or they've got to perform well, because then if they don't, they end up in a bad mood, and it's like this whole. I hope we never end up in that situation.
No, I think that's. I don't know. I think that a lot of the racers, it feels like they feel like the drag and drive stuff is kind of their reprieve, because you hear so many talk so much about, I have to, I see these events, but I can't, I don't have the time. And so, I think that's the biggest deal for anybody is carving out the time to do one of them. And once you do one, then again, you want to try them all.
Yeah, you're done with one. So you're racing at Six Summer.
Yes, sir.
Any other events you have planned to race the rest of the year?
No, I kind of used up all my time going to all these other events, doing the circuit, and then Six Summer. So I want to do, we'll do Six Summer. And then if everything works out, try to catch the King of the Open Road event there in August.
Yeah.
And then, whatever, if there's some local events that either be at like Centerville or Mocan or something like that, I'll probably try to hit some stuff like that.
Hit a couple of days of maybe Rocky Mountain or
definitely something. No, I definitely plan on attending. At Tulsa or Mocan to watch those events for sure.
Sweet.
Yeah, I mean it's right in your back door. You can't be ashamed of it.
Yeah, I agree so much. I'm sorry to have to cut it short. I don't want to miss the dinner with these folks. First time I've been here on a Wednesday, and they all kind of do a big dinner before the event kicks off. So if you're not already following or friends with Brandon Parker, you need to be, because dude, it's you're hilarious. And, I do appreciate you coming on. And again, I tell a lot of our guests this, and I probably say it too much, but this isn't the last time you're going to be on. At some point, I'm going to have a reckoning, and everybody's going to be like, when am I coming back on? But you're welcome anytime, dude. Anytime you get some cool news or story, man, come on.
Oh, I appreciate it. And Eric, always great to talk to you, man.
Yeah, we'll see you at Six Summer for sure.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I'm so pumped. And then also, too, to get to see the photographers and getting your picture of your car taken. That's the coolest.
Everybody loves that. Yeah.
I mean, you can't. That's and you get to see all your buddies. It's just the best.
Yeah, race car friends. All right, buddy. We got to put you backstage, and then we gotta cancel this thing out. They're already texting me.
All right,
Thanks, Brandon.
Bye. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Man, what a fun night! And again, guys, I apologize for having to cut it short.
I mean, it ain't much shorter than a normal show.
We're
already at an hour and a half, so you got to enjoy your time while you're there too.
Well, and I'm sure we have at least another 2 hours we could talk to Brandon. He has a ton of cool stories, and that's why we're going to bring him back. I apologize for not ramping up the questions earlier. So, guys, just again, thank you for being our race car friends. Thank you for hanging out with us, man. I really have seriously had about 7 hours of windshield time today to think about how cool this community is that follow us and that care about the stuff that we do. And I just want to say thank you so very much for that. It's really fun. And I had an epiphany today. We're not going to talk about it today, but we're going to have some fun stuff coming up. Eric don't even know about this yet because I've been so busy, and I don't like to text and drive pulling a 40-something foot trailer. But guys, thank you so much to our sponsors: Summit Racing, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Car Change 3D, Howard's Cams, Performer Built Transmissions, Sweet Patina, Racing Junk Classifieds, and Power Tube TV. And next week we'll be debuting a new one. That's the word I was looking for earlier. All right, Eric, tell them bye.
All right, we'll see you guys later.